if I'm unable to have him here in the next few minutes, we may attempt to have him via telephone line. So that makes it one cell the phone. It's be an understanding. Think one so you sticks but you have to let us do that just not able to just okay you know you or you can go class which were the whole that we will think no hammer cut the case accurate really have statements and he believe it and come they have information what you will
one clapper sorry I could be it office with I rise so I your beer. Live in New York City once, but leave before it makes you hard. Live in Northern California once, but leave before it makes you soft. Travel. Accept certain inalienable truths. Prices will rise, politicians will philander, you too will get old. And when you do, you'll fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. Respect your elders. Don't expect anyone else to support you. Maybe you have a trust fund. Maybe you'll have a wealthy spouse. But you never know when either one might run out. Don't mess too much with your hair, or by the time you're 40, it will look 85. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing the past from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's worth. But trust me on the sunscreen.
Intelligent conversations.
Always interesting.
So engaging.
Sometimes even mind-boggling.
Nigeria info. Ask everyone. Anyone.
We're here, 99.3 Nigeria info, the sunny side. I think I may have my guest on the line. Hello, Jide. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Jide. Can you hear me? Okay, he can't. Well, I'm gonna have to try call back again. Let's try this again. 99.3 Nigeria info. We're trying to get Jide Pratt. He's with the oil and gas sector midstream, and we're about to get into the conversation on Naira for crude. If you have any questions, please lay them on me on WhatsApp. You have my WhatsApp number. Otherwise, 08095975805. 08095975805. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna try again to reach Jide. It's not obvious to me that he can hear me, so I guess I'm gonna have to try again. So if you give me a moment, I promise you, I'll be back.
Don't know when my nights became so complicated. Can't recall my mornings, everything is faded. Maybe this is called my definition of jaded. This stays on my mind, this stays on my mind. Trying to put a muzzle on my crazy feelings. 1 minute I'm cool and then the next I'm tripping. No, there's somebody new, I swear she don't deserve it. It's still on my mind, she's still on my mind. And we build it up, just to let it wash away. Tell me, did I lace you up, just to watch you run away? Please tell me who's getting on my love, who's getting on my love? Tell me who's getting on my time? All of that used to be mine. Oh, who did you teach what I taught you? Better not give them my nickname. I don't like thinking about it. I swear that it's wearing me down. No, but tell me who's getting all of mine? Who's getting all of mine? Residuals. Who's getting all of mine? Who's getting all of mine? Residuals. Who's getting all of mine? Who's getting all of mine? Residuals. Made it clear you didn't want to.
Let's talk.
We're talking. 99.3 Nigeria Info. The sunny side. Welcome one, welcome all. It's 46 minutes past 12, and I have GD via the miracle of telephone. Hello, GD. Good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for being here.
Good afternoon, Joyce. I'm sorry I couldn't be in physically.
I will no longer accept any more apologies. You have apologized enough. I totally do understand it, and I'm so thankful that you would be more than willing to make yourself available every time I want you. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we've been here before. Naira for crude. The last time you were here, you gave us hopes. Well, hopes that's if the government indeed was going to work on what was necessary to keep the Naira stable. I know you're not an economist, but I must want to ask you, what is the whole arrangement thus far, based off of your knowing, with this conversation between the government and Dangote on the matter as it concerns Naira for crude?
Okay. Thanks again for talking to me as always. So, where are we now? And let's be extremely clear. We're still in what you call an impasse. Because the old contract, which started the Naira for crude, was stopped because it was meant to be for 6 months. That said, it's not been re-signed or a new contract has not been put out. So what that means is that we're in a state of limbo, as the case is. What do we think will happen? And let's back up a bit. Why did we start the Naira for crude? The Naira for crude was basically a way to try and find how we would check an exchange rate that seemed to be in trouble. If you look at it, that imports of petroleum products was something that we're doing very, very much at a certain time. It did mean that we were allocating a lot of foreign exchange to import petroleum products. When the Dangote refinery came on, and just so that people listening have a deep understanding of what we're talking about, there became, and it's called a domestic crude supply obligation. What does that mean? It means that crude oil will be supplied to local refineries for the process of refining to bring out petroleum products. Crude oil is sold in US dollars. So what it means is that when we have to import petroleum products and when we didn't have refineries that were working, there was a swap that was done. This swap is back to what I said about the domestic crude supply obligation. What it did mean is that we'd give crude oil to international traders, and then they'll bring us petroleum products in a swap arrangement. The principle stays the same, because if you assume that we're no longer giving this crude to international traders, then it means that we should feed the refineries that are local with this crude oil allocation based on the nameplate. So for the purposes of the conversation, it should have been something around 350,000 barrels per day. That said, between the Dangote refinery and other modular refineries, they were supposed to get this crude. And then the government now said, you know what, if we want to rein in on foreign exchange, if we want to be able to see where the exchange rate goes, then let's reduce the dependence on the US dollar. To do that, the Naira for crude option came about. And what the president was trying to do in the committee he set up is to ensure that crude oil is allocated in the exchange rate but paid in Naira. Sadly, that happened for 6 months. And even in the 6 months, it's clear it didn't happen for 100% of that 6-month period. The refinery ended up paying some amount in US dollars and some amount in Naira. So conversations are still ongoing. And maybe with the new management changes and board changes today, hopefully it will be something they put on their front burner. I think that might be a good way to start.
Okay. So what is the delay? Because we hear that the initial plan was to have a 6 months agreement with the Dangote and maybe other refineries for supply of crude for Naira for about 6 months. And then, of course, the deal lapsed about a few, weeks ago. So here we are, and I don't know if negotiations really are ongoing or what's the name we call this thing, which we hear is now being delayed to extend the Naira for crude policy. Do you have any information in that regard?
What I do know for a fact is that conversations are going on. What I think personally is that where we are now because of policy inconsistencies. So why did I say that? Conversations are going on. Right now, everybody is going to pause. These are my assumptions. And everybody will pause because of the management changes at NNPC. However, if a policy is going to be consistent, then personally, I thought that the first thing that needed to have been done was to sign a 12-month contract. We decided to go with a 6-month contract. Someone would have thought that, as wisdom should prevail, 5 months into the contract, people would have sat at the table and penned a new deal effective
at the
31st of March.
Yeah, at the end of the previous contract.
I mean, this is what any normal thinking organization would do. Sadly, that didn't happen. And again, sadly, it brings me to what we've always talked about the NNPC and lacking corporate governance. So going forward, what I think should happen now is what I think will happen. Those conversations should be hastened. This will be my guess. Because it's one of two things. It's either the country decides to continue in this manner, and if she does, then the advantages are that we can begin to see, and we had seen some exchange rate stability. It means that we'll continue to see it. If she decides to jettish on this, then what it does mean is that petroleum prices are going to go up, and if crude prices go up, then it's a double-edged sword. So that's really where we are at the
Are there
moment.
any economic policies that honestly guarantee the faith of the Nigerian that if things go as planned, we may be buying petrol for cheaper, we may have access to crude for Naira, depending on whatever this arrangement ends up becoming?
I think the straight answer to that in terms of economic policies is yes. And we must all be very, very clear. We saw prices begin to go down. And they started going down first from the Dangote refinery. And then the second thing that happened was that prices also started to go down from competition because the Dangote refinery had become sort of a market leader. Now, the policy is very, very clear in terms of, and again, I say I'm not an economist, but it's very, very clear that if you take the pressure off the US dollar and less people are chasing the US greenback and can trade and conclude transactions in the Nigerian Naira, it strengthens the Naira. What you now find out is that once the Naira is strengthened, there's less pressure on the Naira and it begins to gain. So the first economic advantage or index that you see is that the exchange rates begin to drop. It means that you begin to buy the US dollars with less Naira.
Okay, pardon me. I'm going to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I want to quickly go off on a break. When we come back, I want to figure out whether there is anything that has given you faith to believe that the Naira against the dollar has been stable and stable enough for you to invest your faith, all right? Lagos will be right back. Our guest is Jide Pratt on Nigeria Info.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this. This Easter, bring the whole family and escape to paradise at Ziba Beach Resort. Sun, sand, and unforgettable moments await. Enjoy Easter egg hunts, beach games, family activities, and movies under the stars. Plus delicious feasts and endless seaside fun. Call 0704 7300 013 or visit www.zibabeachresort.com. Ziba Beach Resort, where every holiday feels like paradise.
Everyone says I'm beautiful and bold. They say I'm fashionable. And to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
People say I'm good looking, funny, hardworking, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
So whether in the office or at home,
in the streets or on the dance floor,
anytime, any day, I never lose my confidence. And the secret to my confidence is Wazobia perfume.
Absolutely. Wazobia perfume gives the authenticity and long-lasting fragrance all day. That's my secret confidence.
Wazobia perfume is available in body spray.
Also available in supermarkets and markets near you. Wazobia perfume, the correct scent. back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
We're back. 99.3 Nigeria Info. The sunny side. We have 3 more minutes before the top of the hour where we get to bring to you the news update on Nigeria Info. Welcome to the sunny side. My name's Joyce. And our guest this afternoon is Jide Pratt. Jide, thank you so much for hanging in there for me. You were on a thought before the commercial break. I'd like for you to pick it up there.
Okay, thanks again, Joyce. So I think where we ended was saying that policy consistency. We talked about the dollar, and then you just asked before we left where I find my hope from.
Yeah.
And I say this a lot of times. I'm not a fan of politicians. I've never been. I do believe that more often than not, we find out that their interest is more protected than the people. But you see, hate or love the president, one thing is clear. The CBN has been able to increase the reserves. Now, for them to be able to do that, it might mean that more FDIs are coming in. It also might mean that some of the policies, as tough as they may be working. I said that we saw some stability where dollar exchange rate dropped to sometime about the 1,400, early 1,500 levels. And we saw this coming from probably about 1,718. For it to be consistent, then a few things must happen. How does it translate to yourself, myself, and the average people on the road? It means that food prices, even though they say it's getting cheaper, it must be cheaper and consistent. Harvests must be more. But you understand that when I say this, the foreign direct investment, people bringing in money if they feel that there's money to be made in Nigeria is number one. The policies are consistent is number two. And then the third and final thing is that we begin to increase trade. If you look at trade in terms of a balance of payments, once we have a balance of payments in our favor, these are all economic indices that ideally should work. Transportation hopefully should be cheaper, and this is with CNG and no CNG on let me say, public transportation, being able to move foods from farm, more security. These are the things, and again I say, Joyce, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of politicians. But I think that if these things are working, let's give credit where it's working, and let's reprimand them where it's not. If we take away this Naira for crude deal from the table, then for me, it's like we've moved 5 steps forward, and we've moved 15 steps back. So, I mean, those, in my opinion, would be the things that I see that seem to be working, and if we could keep those working, I'd be happy.
You're a born optimist. I'm going to ask that you hold your breath quickly for me. I want to go off on a break to bring the news updates to the listeners, and then we're right back to the conversation. Deal?
Okay.
Lagos, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're at just the threshold of 1 p.m. to bring to you the news updates. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
For news, sports, and talk that you can relate.
If I told you now to come and buy a Shebi for 20,000 Naira, that you would quickly get that money out. But if I told you to come and do a health check and you should put down 20,000 Naira, you probably would say it's very, very expensive.
That's too much now.
Why should I go and dash one doctor? And because people are not paying attention, people are therefore getting sicker and sicker.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
It's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
It's the news update on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Here's a news update for 1 p.m. today, Wednesday, the second day in the month of April, the year 2025. Police have uncovered and dismantled an internet fraud training center known as Yahoo School in Iju area of Lagos State. Lagos Command spokesperson Benjamin Hundeyin says 4 fraud experts and 6 trainees, including a 12-year-old, were arrested. Investigations reveal the suspects recruited trainees from Anambra and kept their earnings. The facility owner and sponsors are now being hunted, while the young victim received medical care. The State Commissioner of Police assures residents that the fight against cybercrime continues. President Bola Tinubu is set to depart for Paris today, April 2, for a short work visit. During the trip, he will assess his administration's midterm performance and review key reforms. The visit will also focus on strategic planning ahead of the president's second anniversary in office. The president's special advisor, Bayo Onanuga, in a statement said while in Paris, President Tinubu will remain engaged with his team and continue overseeing governance activities. President Bola Tinubu will officially launch the Niger Delta Sports Festival in Oyo, April 2. The event, sponsored by NDDC, will feature 3,000 athletes and 500 officials competing in 17 sports. The festival's torch has stirred the 9 Niger Delta states and will be at Uyo Township Stadium during the opening ceremony. U.S. retailers are expressing concerns, and a European industry chief warns on a massive risk as Donald Trump appears to unveil widespread tariffs. Trump will reveal the plans at the White House, calling it Liberation Day. While details of the tariff scope remain unclear, Trump says he will address unfair trade practices, a view shared by some U.S. industry. However, analysts warn that the tariff could lead to higher global prices. British ministers are also feeling uneasy, House confirming Trump has been in talks with countries seeking last-minute negotiations. We have news reports to cover, of course, on 017-175. That is 7175. You can
Here's the thought. What we have to do today is worthy of note.
This is Sunny Side with Joyce, only on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Thank you so much for being there. It's 3 minutes past 1 p.m. The sunny side. A beautiful Wednesday afternoon to you, and my guest is still on that telephone line and in traffic. Thank you so much, GD. I do appreciate your commitment to this.
Thank you, Joyce.
All right. So, I want to go back a few weeks before today. I remember I had wanted to have you about 2 weeks earlier today, but we couldn't due to your schedule. And as at that time, the news was reporting Dangote reducing prices. In fact, I also heard that marketers were enraged by his consistent reduction in petrol price. It was reported that marketers condemned fuel price reduction and they backed importation. Now, I don't understand that detail. I would love for you to provide me some insight. And then let's talk about what may appear to be the business strategy / altruism of Dangote, if we can truly call it that, because he appears to be the only guy who decides on a very bright, sunny day to reduce fuel prices. And then we hear marketers react to it. So there's the part where Dangote deems it necessary for the benefit of others to reduce the cost of petrol. Then there are marketers reacting to it, and because I'm not sure the politics here. I don't know why they're reacting to it and why they are backing importation. A few minutes ago, you were telling us that the whole argument, or whatever argument surrounds this Naira for crude debate, has been a situation where there needs to be less dependence on foreign currency. But here we are, marketers are backing importation. I thought that this whole idea of backing or supporting local refineries was to make crude affordable, both for manufacturer or refiner and for consumer. So these are probably like 3 questions at this point. So I hope you pick it up from there.
Okay, so let me start with the last, and I need to be extremely clear about this. In a market that is deregulated, or what you call a free economy, 2 things must happen. Local production is going to be encouraged, but believe me and hear me clearly, importation must also be encouraged and allowed to thrive. Now, what does that do? That brings in competition into a space where the person who decides to go and import is working at an import landed cost that is equal to or equivalent to what the market is able to take. That's one. However, you cannot and we should not, in a free society or free market, ban either imports or local. No. The two should coexist in such a way that the regulatory framework is robust enough to make sure that the quality is consistent, and secondly, nobody is underselling in terms of the market. Because, Joyce, once you take out competition, you've killed efficiencies. Now, a Dangote refinery, and let's be extremely clear, solved the 15 to 20-year conundrum in Nigeria. We had no import capacity, no refining capacity.
Yeah.
So what it means is that while that Dangote refinery must be encouraged to thrive, to sell locally and also export as a super refinery, the conditions in terms of crude oil, how does it benefit a local manufacturer? That is what the Naira for crude does. But let's be extremely clear, it doesn't mean that imports should die. Now, I'll back up one more to your second question. Why were marketers complaining? Joyce, if I take 1 million Naira and come and buy something from you, my aim is to add a 10% margin, 15% margin, and sell it on the market. The day I buy 1 million Naira worth of goods from you on Monday, and on Tuesday, you crash the selling price, and I need us to follow this, you crash the selling price to 700. What it does mean is that I can't sell what I've bought from you at 1 million unless you're going to give me back a credit note. I hope I'm making sense. So what the marketers are complaining about is that if they buy from me, I've sold to them, they've bought based on the assumption that they're going to add their margins to it and make a sale. If the price crashes, then they can't do that. So technically, they've lost money. That's on one hand. On the second hand, there's what is called weighted average cost of capital, which means that I can blend my pricing. I've lost 200,000 here. I make 200,000 somewhere else, so that it's a net of effect. That is something marketers can also do. These things are not new in the industry. Now, the final and the first question. Dangote reduces prices as a refinery because of two advantages he has. The refinery is a super refinery, so whatever efficiencies in terms of skills that present there are to the advantage of the refinery. It's a brand new refinery, so it also means that in terms of age, in terms of efficiency, is miles apart. Where we all need to be extremely careful, and the regulator and federal consumer production need to step in, is to be sure that if the ex-refinery price from a Dangote refinery is 10, if it is 10, and they decide to add a margin of 2 or 3, that's fine. But if it is 10, and it seems to be that the refinery, and I'm not saying this as a matter of fact, is selling at 7, then they are underselling to gain an advantage on the market. But again, I must end by saying this. Once you allow all players come in, people who import, and let's not forget this, people talk about this a lot, they should build a consortium and build a refinery. And I keep on saying everybody is not going to build a refinery. What you end up finding is that some of these people have depots, some of them have retail outlets, and then they have trucks. The refinery, again, is a super refinery that has solved the 15 to 20-year-old problem. But regulatory framework has to be in place for everybody in that space to compete ethically and efficiently.
Okay, so I'm persuaded to believe that Dangote was going to give back a credit note because he must have become aware that whatever prices he was selling at, and then decided after the fact to reduce his cost at Gentry, must have been taken into consideration. I don't think that he is working in isolation of the people who are coming to buy from him. So I want to assume that there must have been a report of the Dangote refinery willing to give back a kind of refund for what we can at this point call a loss on the side of the marketer. And then it's been deregularized, So that means that Dangote is at liberty to initiate whatever price he deems fit. But what is the issue with marketers getting angry if Dangote is going to agree to make a sort of refund to cover whatever losses that they may have encountered?
That's a very interesting point. If that happens, then there's really no issue. if it doesn't happen. But my point is this: as at the time when the marketers made this statement, it probably hadn't happened. If you look at what Dangote Refinery was doing with some companies that buy directly in terms of, let me say, distribution play, he was able to reimburse them what you would call the freight rates. So, I mean, assuming you buy 10 Naira and then take it at, let's say, 2 or 3 Naira to get to the station, he was willing to find a way of giving them a discount on that 2 or 3 Naira, so that they could sell at the same rates almost. It's like in the olden days, we used to call it equalization fund, petroleum equalization fund. That was a fund that enabled prices to be sold at the same levels in different places by contributing or claiming from that fund. So back to yours. If that was what was happening, if that was what was going to happen, it's not a bad idea. However, if they were complaining and it hadn't happened, then I can also see why.
Okay, now let's evaluate this whole upstart. So we have refineries that are pretty much just, I guess, benefiting from this Dangote being at the front line of this whole refining sector in Nigeria. And I think maybe now they're making more money and there's a lot more consistency to demand and supply. But I'm concerned about the NNPC. By your observation, has the NNPC become more efficient since Dangote Refinery appeared on the block? I mean, Dangote still has all that hype, but I'm wondering, the NNPC, you know, like, what are they up to? What have they been up to? And what has been the change in form and character since Dangote arrived on the block? Because Nigerians are still expecting their government to serve the people. And I guess that's the duty of the NNPC to, in many ways, not just make policies, but ensure that the Nigerian has access to petrol when they need it. So what have you noticed?
Now, I must be clear about this view that is mine. I'm not so sure that and I call the NNPC the NOC. It's the National Oil Company. A lot of talk about, yes, they've been privatized, but 100% of the shares belongs to the government. So I'm not so sure they have repositioned yet. This morning we all woke up to an announcement about a new GCEO at the NNPC and a new board. So these are my thoughts. I'm not so sure from the time the Dangote Refinery came on board up till this morning, I'm not so sure the NNPC had been repositioned. And why do I say that? They had 2 refineries that they had brought up, which were not fully up. That's number one. If they were fully up, the volumes they were contributing to the national play was not significant. And finally, I would also say that corporate governance, as at that time, was not the best in terms of the NNPC. So that said, they were not in a position to compete with a super refinery. That's one. The second thing is this. If you looked at the products that NNPC had been bringing out from the Dangote refinery time till now, those volumes still paying in significance to the volumes coming out of the refinery. So again, they didn't have that sway in terms of competition. I do hope that with what we've seen, and I don't know if you've taken time to look at the list of members of the new board that the president just put in place. Those are thoroughbred professionals, extremely thoroughbred professionals. So it's 2 things. They've got technical capacity, they've got leadership experience. But beyond that, they need to be able to, and I'll use the word moral suasion, to turn the head of NNPC back on a trajectory of growth, profitability, but most important, higher corporate governance standards, so that they begin to look at how to take the shares, or how will I put it, to list on the stock exchange. That's number one. To begin to grow. That's number 2. Begin to make decisions on the refineries that are moribund. What do we do? Do we want to put more investment in places like the Dangote refinery, the Boa refineries? I don't know what the answers to the questions are, but I'm assuming those eggheads would sit down and begin to chart the cost so that the National Oil Company, quote and unquote, begins to take a larger play.
Yeah.
And I dare say a profitable play Because the best thing when that happens, and again I say in terms of competition, let's not forget they have so many gas issues that they can still make money from. We have gas projects that are still hanging where they have partnerships and ownerships on. I think if the focus of growth is clear for the NNPC and then corporate governance standards are higher, then I think that would answer the questions. But again, I'll say I'm not so sure I saw that from when the Dangote refinery came on board till now. But my hope is that with what we've seen with an announcement today, we're on a path to something much better.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Okay. I mean, you're an optimist. I wouldn't expect otherwise. There's a question here for you directly, and it says, I want to ask if Mr. President cannot just authorize the NNPC to ensure that crude is sold to Dangote in Naira and I guess other local refineries to make life bearable for the average Nigerian. I guess he is referring to an express order from the president to, I guess, the NNPC or whoever else is in charge of the dredging, distribution, supply, refining of crude to ensure that those who are locally established refiners get crude and supply to the Nigerian. Is that even possible, or does politics get in the way at this point?
You see, and I need people to understand this, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is an extremely powerful individual. So the answer to that question, yes, he can. The president today is someone who, in my opinion, and again I say hate it or love him, his political sagacity or sway is quite strong. So again, yes, he can. But because he's also a stakeholder manager, he tries to play both sides at every time. This is my personal opinion. So he might not do that. The NNPC might say, look, we've pledged X amount in terms of forwards, so we don't even have the crude. My thinking will be, who gave you the authority to pledge so much for something that should go to a federation account? The second thing is this: where are the increments going to come from? Which oil fields are they going to come from? With some of the mergers that have happened, some of the buyovers that have happened, if this is what is coming, I'm still struggling to understand how, as a country, we cannot guarantee 365,000 barrels of crude oil a day to the Dangote refinery, and probably another 100,000 to the other modular refineries. I'm still struggling to understand that. But you see, whether he does or whether he doesn't, he's basically kicked the can down the road by appointing a professional board and says, hey, guys, carry your monkey. So it's up to the people who are now on that board to find ways to solve these conundrums. Okay. But back to the question, I think he can give the express order. Whether he wants to is a different thing entirely.
Okay. I have a question here from a listener. His name's Richard, and he says that the brand new NNPC GCEO doesn't have any known previous work experience. He says with the message reads NNPC, but I don't know whether what he indeed meant would be within the oil sector, according to his resume. He's asking you, do you still see him turning around the petroleum sector for good, despite the absence of a former experience, a past experience in the sector?
I think that Mr. Richard might be a bit wrong. And you see, I don't talk loosely when I speak. I try not to talk loosely. Bayo Julari is someone who's been involved in drilling operations, crude operations. He's worked with Shell. I mean, he's someone who's done over 2 or 3 decades in upstream.
Okay.
Yes. So I mean, for me, you don't just get 10 years in any industry is a lot. 20 years is a stretch. 30 years, you're a veteran. And that is what it is. So he has that experience. And I'll tell Richard, I mean, just try and do some research on the names of the people on that board. He will be blown. His mind will be blown. But it's one thing to have the experience. It's another thing to have the will to be able to insist that, look, guys, we're going to do this. This is integrity we're talking about. And do the right thing.
All right.
But I think he has the experience to turn it around.
So we're hopeful that maybe something will come out through the skies. Before you go, CNG, the last time you were here, and I guess even beyond the time you were here, we've even had like private conversations around the benefit of the CNG. I'm disappointed, and maybe it's probably as a result of not looking low enough, hard enough to see how well we're doing as a nation when it comes to CNG supply management, affordability, training. I guess even the knowledge awareness to make the Nigerian aware of what the substitutes are and how they can avail themselves the opportunity of having those substitutes at a sensible, relatively affordable cost. So what else? Are you still of faith that the CNG, 1, is beneficial? 2, we've made any advancements in that regard?
Yes, I think I am very optimistic about CNG.
But have we made any advancements? Have we made any advancements? Okay.
Yes, we have. So if you look at things like cars, I remember sometime last year we were talking about maybe about 1,000 or 1,200 cars. That number is now close to 6,000. Joyce, is not enough. It's not near, but that is still an advancement. If you look at daughter stations and mother stations, now you can actually drive around. And I keep on saying, if you went to, there's a mobile filling station on Agidingbi, somewhere around Agidingbi. They actually have CNG dispensers. There are cars queuing up there. The problem I still see is from the mother. So there's a mother station side, and then there's a daughter station side. So look at it that the daughter station is just like you driving into your fuel stations to refill.
Yeah.
Refill. The mother station is where you actually have the gas congregating. So I think we've not done enough work in terms of piping gas around Nigeria. Something like, the AKK pipeline has been in play for it's been so long, we haven't completed that. The more you complete that, then it means that we're able to establish more mother stations so that distribution in terms of daughter stations increases. That is where I'm a bit disappointed. In terms of the talking about it, sensitization, we're much better. I personally try to talk about it every time because it's something I believe will work. And I'm not going to give up on that thought. I do think more needs to be done from the daughter part in terms of infrastructure. The more we can do on that, then the better for us. More public buses, even electric buses as well, which is not CNG, but alternative fuels, so that we can grow in terms of transportation, in terms of the effect, in terms of moving crops and then people. So I think yes, we are on the right track, but much more still needs to be done.
All right, look, I'm going to look forward to having you back here because I'm following through on this development between the government and, of course, stakeholders and the local refiners because we need to know when the Nigerian gets to have affordable petrol. Now, I have to be off on a break. I guess you can't quite help us with the threat of having to pay more for fuel, which really is what the average Nigerian is mostly concerned about right now. But maybe by the time you're here, some positivity may have emerged from this outcome. Thank you so much, both for your time and your commitment to being here. God bless you, J.D.
Pratt. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Lagos, we're going to quickly go off on a break. Our guest has been J.D. Pratt, and we'll have him sooner than later, depending on what the news outcomes.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Helps Mom pour her love in the tasty, nourishing meals she cooks for her family. Golden Terra Oil, pour pure love.
Every day is about winning with one play on Nigeria Info. On Nigeria Info, daily winnings is now over 150,000 Naira. Just go to oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3#. Play with as little as 500 Naira, and in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. The more you play, the better your chances of winning every day on the Morning Crossfire, WhatsApp Lagos, and Game On shows on weekdays and the Football Frenzy shows on weekends. But that's not all. Every Friday, there will be a 500,000 Naira jackpot. Playing during the week automatically qualifies you for the weekly jackpot. Your chances of winning are the same whether you play on oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Remember to play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. I really had my thoughts interrupted earlier on. Welcome, everyone. It's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon to you, and I'm hoping you're enjoying the weather out there. Thanks to GD Pratt again, but I think there's a message I couldn't read. I didn't have enough time, of course, to entertain that. But this is more a statement than it is a question. Benjamin is saying, concerning the CNG, all NNPC CNG stations are not functioning except the CNG stations managed by Mobile. So I guess the GD could still be listening. I'd like for him to respond to that, particularly if that is something that he may also have knowledge of. So this one says all NNPC, yeah, you're saying the CNG stations are not functioning. And if you remember this group now, the unions, TUC, NLC has had this problem with the federal government because on the line item in 2023, if you remember, 2023, the government made a promise to the unions that they were going to establish a system that makes, of course, alternative means of energy available to the people. And I guess CNG was on that list. And I guess the government was supposed to not just initiate the process, but see through the process and make sure that the systems of transports available to Nigerian and a means to convert your petrol to CNG, alternative energy, was not just made available, but also affordable for the Nigerian. It would appear that, because I even spoke to the NLC head of information, and he was asking me if I had seen anything, and he was pretty much just being rhetorical, because he was trying to emphasize the fact that the government wasn't doing enough. So even though GDA is optimistic that, yes, it's positive in terms of it being alternative, but as far as, the government achieving the stated goal, there he is disappointed. It would appear that it's not just GDA who could be disappointed. The Nigerian may also be disappointed. One, I think I would disagree with GDA when it comes to public awareness. I'm not so sure that the public is fully informed as they should. I feel that there are still gaps that need to be filled. And maybe if you have already converted your vehicles or whatever, your vehicles, I guess, let's see. I think I've heard Nigerians say that they converted generators to gas. Can somebody confirm that? I must have heard it or I read it, that some Nigerians had to convert their generators to gas fuel. So I want to know if that's something. And by the way, when you say gas, do you mean CNG or are you referring to something else? Because I was also just going to list, not be sure. Yes, okay, I'll just share with you. To go reaction to what you have heard, I don't know how society the government is still back forth with reaching a new arrangement that would afford the Nigerian, it's not a privilege, it's your crude, afford Nigerians access to their crude at an affordable rate. Okay, let's talk. How are you? Your Nigeria Info.
Hello, guys.
Thank you so much for being here.
This is Malik speaking.
Yeah.
Joyce, the generator you're talking about for gas, it's possible it was cheaper then when your gas was 120, 200 per kilo. But since the gas became 1,200, 1,400, people are abandoning it. I don't know if you understand me.
Oh, I do.
Not CNG. Your gas, you're
cooking
cooking
gas. Oh, okay.
Yes, it was then gas was cheaper, people were converting it. But now imagine your 6 kg that will cost you almost 8, 7,000. After 3 hours is gone. What will you do?
Oh.
You need to go back to your fuel. Exactly. So for the CNG, What that the message they sent to you, 227 billion correct. The NNPC section is not functional. You will see it's CNG. Even the one at Ajah, beside that big shopping mall that we all know, at towards Sapa, London, you see them there. It's not functional. But there's a place called Agbo Malu, towards Apapa. Mobile is there, but the functioning is fluctuating. But the question to the But the question to the guy that was on the call before, is it that if you do the crude for Naira Sop or whatever, and Dangote is Dangote one controlling the pump price now, or the PPMC, I do what the record, what are their function this time around?
Yeah,
because the fuel has gone back to 960.
Well, you know why,
it has
right?
gone back to 960. I know it's gone back to 960, and the new board of NNPC. The only benefit they can do for Nigeria is to bring down the price of the petroleum cost.
Do you remember when we had a conversation and the NNPC said that they could no longer be the ones to determine what the prices would be because they had to regulate?
Joyce, because of time, let me say this to you. Is the refinery worry for Takot? Are they really producing? Arrest my kids, but no with police. Good morning.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's go off on a break. We'll be right back. We're 99.3. This is Nigeria Info.
Quality talk.
Intelligent conversations.
Always interesting.
So engaging.
Sometimes even mind-boggling.
Nigeria Info. Ask everyone. Anyone.
All right, time's all we have. Well, it's not really all we have, but you kind of get the point on the sunny side. We're working with it. But time is essential. No, it's not probably. It's the most essential commodity. You can't get it back. Now, I thought it would be a good idea for us to just segue into the Natasha conversation. And let me explain how this is working. Remember that there's a pending development between the federal government and, stakeholders to determine Naira for crude deal, a new Naira for crude deal. So I'm saying to you, it's a moving story, and we have our eyes on how quickly it moves, if it moves at all, and whatever developments emerge at the end of that line. So bear with me. I think that the conversation certainly can happen later on. Maybe by the end of this week. I'm expecting that there is an actual outcome by the end of this week, okay? And then we'll have this conversation again, and hopefully we'll have actual reactions to the matter on Naira for crude. I think someone just mentioned that it's now 960. Yeah, I think I also saw that 2 days ago. But I'm hearing that it depends on the areas, though. Some are saying 930. I know for 930, but he's saying 960. Okay, I'll just go to the telephone lines and hear you react to whatever is pressing on your chest. And then we need to go to this Natasha matter because it is something. Hello, how are you? Good afternoon to you.
Joyce, good afternoon, Joyce.
Tell me your name.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you. Tell me your name. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Robert. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good
Nigeria
afternoon.
Info.
Hello, Joyce. Good afternoon. Sorry.
Okay. How
Hello,
are you?
Joyce. Good afternoon.
I can hear.
I'm fine.
Okay. Tell us your name. Go ahead.
Yeah. Same Benjamin. You know, yesterday I told you I carried out my own solo protest yesterday.
Yeah. Is today day?
Yeah, and I'm back to work for now. So but I'm waiting for them to see what they will do. Then I'll come out again. Why am I doing this? Because it doesn't make any sense when you have a policy that is working for the masses, for the citizens, and you are not delaying. You need to be told to renegotiate before the expiration of the trial period when you have seen that this thing is working. I get what I'm saying now. But if it's something that is not working, you are fast to act on it, you are fast to do it. But when it comes to our well-being as a citizen, you will be dragging. Everybody, both the professionals, all of them have concurred. Both the man you brought in and the one that Sheriff or Kofi brought in the other time, all of them concurred that arrangement worked. So what is now the essence of you dragging foot in renegotiating? The other man that came on a sheriff's show said something that there's something they want to work on, that some people that are giving the fuel for Naira, the crude for Naira, are selling it out. And I ask myself again whether that man has ever in his life had headache before. And if he has had headache before and his head is still on his neck, it means that man is either acting a fool or playing smart. Why don't you cut off your head because you have headache now? Is it not? If you believe that that's how to solve situation like this, maybe because some people are taking the fuel outside and you decide now to cut it off. Why not, when you have headache, cut off your head now? Instead of you checkmating the loose ends in that arrangement, you are not telling me that because of some people are taking out the crude, selling it outside and earning a bigger money in a dollar, the crude you give them for Naira. Why not checkmate that loose end? So, Joyce, these guys are just playing a prank with us. They are just taking us for a fool, for a ride. I get what I'm saying. Policy that work. In fact, before the expiration of the 6 months, you are supposed to put modalities in place to make sure that this thing continues.
Well, there you have it.
Thank you so much, Joyce.
Now you know what to do with the facts that you have. This message goes, I have been using cooking gas, LPG, to fuel my generator since last year. It's cheaper to run on gas till today. However, a lot of people are skeptical about the conversion. Because of the cost of conversion, you will need to buy a gas cylinder and then convert your generator. But if you can manage to convert it without looking at the cost, you'll still see that it's cheaper to run on gas than to run your generator on petrol. Wow, have a blessed day, he says. Oh, this is a Wale from Jakonde. I think the CNG is not even getting all that hype. I don't know. I don't know if it's a lack of faith or the government isn't teaching people or like informing the public what it is. There isn't much information known. All right, let's find out what you have to say on Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon, sister.
Thank you for calling. Tell us your name.
It's okay to go from Motasam. Sister, I support Natasha. She escaped arrestment in dungeon when they blocked Abuja.
No, hold on a second, please. Hold on a second. Let's just wait. Turn up the volume of your radio set if you truly want to have a conversation.
No, my radio is not on.
Yeah, good. Just hold on. People want to react to this whole petrol thing, so let's just give them 10 minutes. We get it out of the way, and then we'll come back to Natasha, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hello, Nigeria Info. How are you?
Hello, Joyce.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you.
My name is Sunday.
Welcome, Sunday.
Yeah, calling from VI.
Go ahead.
You see, I just want to say this. The people that are ruling us turn us to be fools. Because all these tricks that they are playing, they thought we don't know. They want to use one thing and spoil the other. And they are not ready to consider the fact that the poor people are not in the position that they are, controlling everything. Everything is made to be free for them. But what about the poor people? One thing or the other, they have started importing this in fuel again. When everybody were thinking, we were thinking when Dangote, this thing is okay, fuel will be steady. But now they are speaking this grammatism that Nigerians don't understand. So it is well with Nigerians, and that's all I can say. I'm telling you, because this country, we don't care whether the poor people are suffering. Those less privileged people should be considered as well. Let them continue to do whatever they do. But a time will come that they will not remain in that place forever. Thank you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. You're on the sunny side. Hello.
Hello, Joyce. Good afternoon.
Afternoon to you.
I've been trying you many days. Okay. Let me quickly
tell us your name.
My name is Onyemuwa.
Good to have you.
Calling from Aja. Please permit me to say something on Natasha before the fuel. I may not be able to call again.
No. You want to disrupt it.
Okay, let me say the fuel.
Yeah.
You know, with that we call, sometimes they go.
Oh, good.
So let me say the fuel. They just 2 seconds on the Natasha, just to round it up. On the fuel, hey, a fuel attendant called me last week, Muiwa, fuel go cost to, because they are playing game, come and buy fuel. I went and buy fuel 100 liter for 860 naira per liter. Joyce, between last week and now, the 100 liter where I buy, it don't dry reach 40 liter for my house. So
dry?
Yes, dry without using it. These are the importation of what they are giving to us. So does it make sense that you are using Naira in your country, but you are selling your crude oil in foreign currency? Does it make any sense to those that ruling me and you? Your natural crude oil, you are selling it for your citizen in foreign currency. Please, for Natasha, in conclusion, Natasha had shown all of us that though that the house of that senator, they are just wasting our time doing nothing. Somebody just joined them within 1 year. We see what she's doing up and down. And because she's exposing them, they want to destroy her. Good afternoon.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Wait, you know, like that's another conversation where you buy petrol and you have it in storage and you go back and it's disappeared. Okay. Nigeria Info, how are you?
I'm okay. Joyce.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you. Tell us your name. Go ahead.
Yeah, Raprushku is my name. Well, on this NNPC versus Dangote, I think they just want to frustrate Nigerians. You know, everything going to be on increase again. Because we are getting it right at a time, we start getting it wrong again. You know, because I don't know why this our local mineral resources should be sold in dollars. Before you know it, they will demand in this is in dollars. They will say it will be in pounds. What stops them from taking our legal tender, which is Naira? They should sell this thing to Dangote. Is our local mineral resources, the crude. They should give it to Dangote with our Naira. What's the meaning of dollar? What's the impact of dollar? They will not do something stable. They just want to frustrate Nigerians. We are having no distance, no refineries, but we have this one at hand working for Nigerians. They still want to frustrate it and frustrate Nigerians. They want everything to be increased. Before you know it, this fuel will come up to 1,500 per liter, which is not what Nigerians want. I don't know who brought us into this, in this country. We want to frustrate the life of citizens. Everything, before you know it, transportation here today, you see prices, what it will be calling, and everything will increase again. I don't know. They should think and let things work for Nigerians once for all. Because with this democracy, people are suffering a lot. It's not supposed to be like this. Every time we'll be talking, and they are not paying listening ears. They're just doing things the way they like it to be. That is unfair. People are suffering a lot. Look at what I think this way getting down 825. Nigeria is hoping it will be 700 or 600. Before you know it, everything starts coming up again because they are demanding in dollar. They want this thing to be in dollar. Is it not our local crude, our local mineral resources? Why demanding in dollar? That's my question. Why demanding? Is Dangote the hit man? Are they not patronizing Dangote in our?
What? Stop! Wait! Are you not tired of saying the same thing over and over and over again?
No. I'm making another point. I say, hitman, are they not patronizing Dangote in our Naira? Why is NNPC demanding dollar from Dangote? That's the point I'm saying. Is another point. I'm not making my point round and round. Don't tell me that. I know what I'm saying.
You have me misunderstood.
They just want to frustrate.
You have me misunderstood.
Hello?
You misunderstand.
Okay,
me.
sorry.
I'm saying that this Nigerians.
Come again, I'm listening.
Nigerians have been complaining about the government and what the government is doing to them. And I think it's obvious that the Nigerians should know that the talking isn't quite getting the work done, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Nigerians to see if some other is necessary.
Yeah, well, we are saying we are the same page. Anyway, I get you now. What I'm saying in essence is high time whoever is concerned, the authorities, make things work better for Nigerians, because we don't deserve all this frustration and creeping of businesses and the increase on here and there. It's really frustrating, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So now we need to put that frustration into something else. And because I think here we can see that, first of all, I need to even talk about that you buy petrol and it disappears. Like, you buy petrol, you put it somewhere and it vanishes. I'm not even sure what science that is, but I was even going to ask him, is that a Dangote petrol? But I've seen videos where people allege that the Dangote petrol is better. So you determine, you're the consumer. A few of you may have even experimented comparing petrol to see which one is better. So there's that as an issue. So someone is saying that he bought 100 liters and it pretty much evaporated and now he has 40 liters left. That's not taking into account the cost at which he's having to pay for that. There's that. And then there's the fact, when we think about or talk about issues in Nigeria, I think the Nigerians should admit that the talking, yeah, you can see that. Okay, good. So I'll speak to a few more of you, and then we have to go to someone else who's done a little bit more than just talking, all right? Good. How are you?
Hello?
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Hello, Joyce.
Your name. Go ahead.
Yeah. Christopher is my name, calling
Welcome,
from
Chris.
Italy.
Thank you, Chris. Good to have you. Go ahead.
You're done with the fuel issue, right?
Oh, well, we're speaking to a few more people. You can go ahead. Leave me your 2 cents, and then we can go to
Oh, my
Natasha.
God.
I need to
Look,
play the Natasha audio.
Let me just quickly say something about the fuel, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
I bought 930.
I know for 930.
Before then, you know, when they unbundle this NNPC stuff to Wando, right?
Okay.
I called then and asked, who is the owner of Wando? Why must it be Wando? You say you did your bidding and whatever, where you have Shell, you have Total, you have companies who can do this. Nobody give me an answer till today.
Okay.
Mary Carey and is it Dangote also? He come the other day, complain. Tell you on your program. Oh, it's going to open up whatever is going on in, is it Qatar also? You remember Dangote, right? Then after some time, they call him, oh, don't worry, we'll be giving you fuel in Naira. Then the other 25 model refinery could have been complaining about since which they refused to give crude. They said, no, after Dangote, they will give them up to today. And people were jubilating. I talked. They said, no, Dangote is a businessman. A minister for state petroleum said, even if Dangote refinery started working, we will not get fuel for cheap. Nigerians will forget so soon. He said it. And I always say these marketers, they are part of the problem we are facing. That man that Kofi invited the other day, the man said they are going to crash the price of fuel. Kofi insists, how much? He said, don't worry, we're going to shock Nigeria. The same man was on air last week. The man was telling us that some people got this crude, they go and sell it abroad. They import whatever, they come back and... You see, these people, all of them are doing the same thing. One, I don't blame them. I blame Nigeria because they throw all this in at us. We absorb it.
All right.
So you can hear from there, so, oh, let go. Let go. We move on. We all are in for it. Like I always say, we all are in for it, my sister. Thank you very much.
We have some information we want to share with you.
Yeah, we definitely do have some information to share with you, and it is coming from Femi and the gang. Yes, Femi and the gang, in conjunction with Sports Salon, are bringing to you once again Fan Battle. Before now, it happened 3 times, and then we went on a hiatus, but now we're back. Yes, and the parameters haven't changed. 32 fans, pretty much that is the format. 32 fans going up against each other, head to head, until only one is left as the last man standing and the winner of the 1 million naira cash prize. Registration is ongoing. at www.nigeriainfo.fm. That is www.nigeriainfo.fm. Once you get there, click on the Fan Battle banner on the homepage, and of course, go ahead to fill the mini form that will come thereof. And then drop a video that is not more than 60 seconds long with you speaking on any football topic of your choosing. Then click submit. Fan Battle 4, let the battle begin. Now, do not forget to play the one play game, *347 *880 *3 hash. That has been the MO for more than going on 2 years now. And of course, it's not going to change whatever the enemies. I know they are not. Nobody hates money. But whatever it is, it's definitely not going to change. Make sure that you are dialing *347 *880 *3 hash from your phone, or going to www.oneplay.ng to play the game. Now, each ticket is going to cost you 500 Naira, and you can play as many as 10 times, as little as once. All we are saying here is that you need to make sure you are playing responsibly, and make sure that you are above the age of 18 while playing. You are not just playing for the daily winnings, which are over 200,000 Naira. Yes, it is over 200,000 Naira. It's also the jackpot at the end of the week, which is in fact 500k large. You do not want to be told that that kind of largesse went out and you were not one in the number of those who won. Make sure you are playing to give yourself an actual chance of winning the said money. Now, One Play is a registered trademark under Lashu Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission. Keep on playing to keep on winning.
99.3 Nigeria Info, the sunny side. I really think we need to go to the conversation on Natasha. I think that there is a psychological aspect to it that's particularly interesting. And I feel like Nigerians, you need to decide. Aren't you tired of complaining? I'm tired of hearing you complain. I'm really tired of hearing you complain about the same things. And I know that there's something inside of you. And so I don't know whether you've been bred out of passion and will. I don't know if they've bred that out of you. But maybe Natasha is a good storyline for us today. She's good conversation. She is something to look at. Akpabio is supposed to save his name and his credibility, but he couldn't whistle for it. And Natasha, I don't think she has measured, or if it's even occurred to her, the extent to which her being vocal has changed the political terrain. I'm not even sure if she's full aware of that. But for culture where, well, some cultures who think that the women should be given to silence, I think it's quite a thing to see Natasha emerge from the shadows and give us something to talk about. And that we will talk about when we return. We're 99.3. This is Nigeria Info. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
Did you know that micro, small, and medium enterprises account for 96% of Nigeria's businesses and contribute to about half of the country's GDP? They also provide around 84% of all employment in the country. Want to know more? Join us on Board Street Drive, our new business show, 2:30 p.m. Mondays on Nigeria Info 99.3 FM. Let's talk.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire, their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight, each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher, the battle returns and it's full of fire. Grand Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more Register now and take your stand. Your time to shine is now at hand.
Registration is ongoing on www.nigeriainfo.fm.
And Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Let's see.
Then I will say this, and I'm saying this openly as well. On the 14th day of March, at about 10:30 p.m. On the 14th day of March, at about 10:30 p.m. I got calls that Governor Yahaya Bello was with Akpabio. That night. Now let me say this now. On the 14th of March at 10:30 p.m. Mind you, 2 days before that, which was on the 12th, Akpabio had called Governor Dodo on the phone that he should commence my recall. But Governor Dodo told him it would be impossible. No, hold on. This was what Governor Dodo said on the 12th. Listen. He said, on the 12th of March, Akpabio spoke to Governor Dodo to recall me. But he told him to be impossible because the masses are with her, the people are with her. But Akpabio was not satisfied. He then sent for Yahaya Bello. And it was actually Senator Asukwo from Cross River that drove Yahaya Bello from Hilton Hotel. I was informed of everything. When I got to know, hold on, the meetings was in two folds. He told him to commence my recall. And that he was going to fund it. Of course, monies changed hands that night. The second thing he told him was that he should try and kill me. I didn't make this public, but I wrote to the IG of police. And Akpabio told Yahaya Bello, I am saying, standing by what I've said. He told him that he should make sure that killing me does not happen in Abuja, it should be done here. So it will seem as if it's the people that killed me here. I didn't make that public, but we did notify the security agencies of that. I called on the media houses. I called on This Day, I called on Punch, I called on a number of journalists that I know. I tried to get them publish the information ahead of time. That look, this is the nature of the meeting. They are going to commence my recall. But of course, the print media, if you don't have evidence, they will not be able to put it out. So they said, Natasha.
It's okay. That is okay. It's okay. Let me explain. No, it's okay. Let me explain. It's okay. It's okay.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info, your mic is always on. Let's talk.
It's 2 o'clock.
The headline news on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Lagos, a lot is happening this cold Wednesday afternoon. Here's a quick summary. Lagos warns Korokwe drivers against illegal parking and route violations. Lagos Assembly officials apologize to SSS over March assault. Police raid Yahoo training school in Iju, arrest 10 suspects, while Lagos State Waste Management Authority says the state generates 13,000 tons of waste daily. FRSC pushes for stricter truck safety after deadly Yanya Mararaba explosion. President Tinubu departs for Paris today on short working visit. President Tinubu and other top dignitaries set for opening ceremony of Niger Delta Sports Festival today. President Tinubu sacks NNPC chairman and CEO, appoints new leadership. Minister of Foreign Affairs Tugger announces Air Algeria's direct flight from Algiers to Abuja to start on the 6th of April. INEC struggles to fund by-elections for vacant legislative seats. Catholic priest says true fasting is about avoiding sin, not just food. DSS arrests 2 suspects in Uromi killings. More on the run. Senator Natasha defies Kogi's rally ban with homecoming celebration. On the foreign scene, Myanmar's military rejects ceasefire despite deadly earthquake. World leaders await President Trump's new tariff announcements today. Hollywood star Val Kilmer, known for Top Gun and Batman Forever, dies at the age of 65. Israel expands ground assault in Gaza, plans new buffer zones, and Israeli airstrike on UN clinic in Jabalia kills 8 people, including 3 children. And that's the summary at this time. It is back to the sunny side with Joyce on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I am Yvonne Ohaifo. Good afternoon to Lagos, and thank you for your time.
Quality talk.
Intelligent conversations.
Always interesting.
So engaging.
Sometimes even mind-boggling.
Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Ask everyone. Anyone.
99.3 Nigeria Info, you're on the sunny side. Desmond just sent me a message. As you know, he's supposed to be here by 2:30, but he says he's been in traffic for 3 hours, and he will be unable to make it. All right, so we have 1 hour left on the sunny side. Welcome to you. So, there's a Latin quote that I love. I'm going to attempt to paraphrase it. It's like, give me ground to stand on, and I will move the earth beneath my feet. It's, yeah. Give me ground to stand on, and I'll move the earth beneath my feet. You need courage. You need grit more than you need friends. You need mettle. You need, even if you were afraid, to be capable of standing one for something that you know to be true, to believe. Even particularly when you have to stand alone. Oh, these mosquitoes are not letting me. You know, even when you have to stand alone, particularly where you must stand alone. In fact, I think you should begin every journey with a mindset that you could stand alone. For Natasha, I think, for once, she has a husband that's just really in this fight with her, because I think when I listen to that audio, I'm quickly reminded of the social cultural limitations that are, put on women. And you see the time she gave that whole allegation when she had the fallout on the Senate floor, then the drama just develops from there, and nobody was in support of her. Well, maybe there were a few supporters, silent supporters, who couldn't speak up because of what they may lose or how they could be judged. But you could tell that those who pretty much granted television interviews, none were really in support of her. Okay, well, she did what she had to do, got on a flight, went to the UN, went to New York, and told a tale. And they said that they were going to investigate it, you see? But she was more than willing to just go there and tell her tale. She was on the BBC. I saw her there. I didn't even watch it. I saw her there. She went to anybody who had ears to say, this is my story, and this is what they're doing to me. I have been given a 6-month suspension, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's go to the news that emerged from the holidays. The state governor, and they say they did it for security reasons. Oh, no, before that, there was a recall. Many people said, now, this looks staged. They look like hired hands. This is all politically motivated. But, yeah, the last 1 week, we heard a tale about signatures, over 250, signing and demanding her recall. And I couldn't talk about it for, well, we had other conversations, we had other things to talk about. So I didn't talk about it. And I guess I think it's worth mentioning, particularly if you're from Kogi State and you support her recall, you still have an argument and you still have a foot in the fight. So I guess Nigeria Info allows you an opportunity to speak for or against the development thus far. Okay, so back to what I was trying to put in your hearing, just trying to capture the picture. So she, it was said that she was supposed to be recalled, signatures were collected. I saw a video this morning, and a person from Kogi was being interviewed, and he said that their signatures were forged because nobody came to them and told them that Natasha was going to be recalled. So there's that. And then there's the fact that people think that those people who pretty much signed not knowing what they were signing for. Okay, so we have to just move. Now, the state government placed a ban on gathering. This was over the holidays, and also placed a curfew, and it was due to security concerns. And maybe we can see the sense in that, because the last few days we've been talking about Uromi, talking about, cases of herdsmen attacking farmers around the country, and maybe the government thought, hey, we'll just impose a curfew, place a ban on gatherings, what have you. Okay. And Natasha decided that she was going to go home for her Salah celebration. I guess to her, she wanted to celebrate with her people. That's how the story is put. All right, you know the story already between herself and the Senate president, and it's just been rather dramatic over sexual allegations. Okay, and she's alleging sexual harassment by Akpabio. On March 6th, the ethics committee struck it out, instead handed her a 6-month suspension without pay. She has said if she's going to be out of work for 6 months, she'll continue to work for her people. And then the People's Gazette. I don't know. This is so interesting. The People's Gazette gave us some gist out of America, saying that the chairperson overseeing the ethics committee has a fraud case in the U.S. It's like, it doesn't even get boring around here. It's just one rabbit hole, and you find another maze into it, another rabbit hole. Yeah, okay. So Natasha decides, she goes to the UN, she's back, she goes home. She said, I watched a clip where she said there was no inlet into her town, road, or through the waters, so she had to go by air. And she was welcomed by the people. Yeah, because I can't quite put a figure on it, but it was a large crowd of her people. And then she tells this tale. She tells a tale of pretty much what she was, I guess she has insiders giving her gist. Now, this is an allegation, so I'm guessing she's going to have to, one, prove it, or the senator is going to have to, that's the Senate president, is going to have to save name. How he's going to do that, we're all here for it. But I need to quickly play this audio, whatever's left of it in your hearing, and we can pick up the conversation from there. Nigeria Info, we hold this to be worthy of note.
Agencies of that. I called on the media houses. I called on This Day, I called on Punch, I called on a number of that I know. I tried to get them publish the information ahead of time. That look, this is the nature of the meeting. They are going to commence my recall. But of course, the print media, if you don't have evidence, they will not be able to put it out. So they said, Natasha, do you have any evidence that your recall is being planned? I said, I don't have any evidence, but I know that the meeting took place and this was what transpired. But you see, 3 days after the recall started, and they called me, oh, you said it. I said, I did tell you that this was going to happen. But what is it now for us? We saw what happened. They came around, deceived our women that there was an empowerment program going on. They told them to come.
Okay, so you pretty much have heard it. Now, remember, she's alleging, and we're repeating the context here, that it's all an allegation. So first, she alleges sexual harassment, and hell broke loose. But she seemed to be ready for the devil. Okay, and then now she's alleging something else, that they tried to kill her. Or at least they're planning. She's saying, well, she's hearing the birds chirp in her hearing that they tried to, or they are planning or trying to kill her. All right. So I guess Akpabio is probably going to have to, at a later time, speak on it. But she's making allegations of things that, if we are capable of truth, should interrogate. One, to prove her wrong, or two, to give her justice in the event that she's correct and deserves justice. I'm going to hold my breath here and open up the telephone lines. 99.3 Nigeria Info, the Sony side. And, let's talk about, I guess, her courage, politics, this kind of politics. And so she's a woman, and I don't want to limit this to women, but this is a very good example to women. One, two. The other thing is this thing where she will sacrifice shame. It's like, I'll sacrifice shame for something greater. And, yeah. Oh, yeah, please. Rule number 1. You must be willing to lose. Let's talk. How are you?
Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for calling. Tell us your name.
My radio is off. So I listened to Natasha interview late 2019 when they blocked Lokoja Abuja Road. She had to follow Abuja last year, Benue, and enter Okene. So what she's saying, I support him. Okay, although they say they should watch Natasha's statement. It is capable to inciting violence. So they did not watch when somebody said, I will put fire in PDP state. They did not see when Felix Moka said, P2P have crossed the red line, but to send police, like I said, and be a prophet to know what is inside her heart. Well, I learned something from her. She's a lioness. I take her as activist woman, like Mama Fela, Aisha Yusuf, Odumaki Josephine, OPS Secretary, Ndekautu, Fumi Fanana, Esther Banga, Bisi Fayemi, Laila St. Matthew, Duno Dunna, Feyike Audu. So she should believe in what she stands for, and I support her. So she has taught me the boundary between government and citizens. We have rights. Nobody have right to stop you to entering your state that you are not causing war because of political propaganda, because of plutocracy, because of autocracy. Sister, finally, Tinubu have traveled 38 times looking for a voice source since June 2023. Nothing. I rest my case.
What's on you, sir?
Good afternoon, Joyce.
Good afternoon to you. You're welcome.
Yeah, you have Emmanuel on the line speaking to you from Ekwe.
Good to have you.
There is something someone was told me, that always resonates, with me. The person said, be careful to fight somebody who has little or nothing to lose. The Senate president didn't handle everything well. For the case of sitting or no sitting, I won't blame the Senate president for that. But handling of the matter from that time to a suspension, to Natasha going to the BBC, to the committee, shut up or don't shut up, you are whatever, of Ezekwesili, everything should be, all the blame should be on Akpabio. The reason is, there is optics, that is supposed to guide everything. If at that place, at that point when this seat issue was raised, and then the sexual allegation case came up, if the Senate president has said, okay, I want to recuse myself for like 2 weeks, let us set up a committee to investigate this issue, and even if it is superficial, that nothing is going to come out of it. Every drama that has played so far won't have happened. But some people are just trying to back the Senate president because, you see, I've come to realize that a lot of our big men and politicians are arrogant. And their arrogance makes them get blind, and they are not foresighted. This issue has embarrassed the country to a point of which I can't even explain. And then what happened in Kogi very recently. Now, the handling of the matter, by the state government, even blew everything up. You say you are imposing curfew. stoppage of convoy. Funny enough, the lady fly through a chopper. In that event, you say you are, imposing immediate curfew. So, you see, I want to advise those people behind the Senate president and people who have access to him that this thing is not looking good. And Natasha raised a very dangerous point at that event. You didn't play that aspect. She was trying to turn the North against the South. She made a statement to the effect that the Senate president was angry that the money of the South, I can't really remember how exactly she put it, that the money of the South was being used to develop the North. That the Senate president, if you read beneath that statement, there is a problem coming. I don't see Natasha standing alone in this. That is from the Senate. There are some people behind that. They might not be talking for now, but I definitely know that she has some people behind her, of which everything can blow up within any second.
Wow.
That is my position.
Thank you so much for
Thank you and good afternoon.
I do appreciate it. 99.3 Nigeria Info, you on the sunny side. My name's Joyce. It's 17 minutes past 2 p.m. Hello. Good afternoon to you. Hopefully you make it back. Welcome. How are you? How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, Joyce.
Honey, I don't want to hear the volume, please.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. Thank you very much for being here. What's your name?
Yeah. Mrs. Alawali from Aja.
Good to have you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think we have watched this drama played out over a period of time. And, initially, one might be saying it may not be true, it may be true 50-50, you understand? But these are adults. Senate President Akpabio, Senate Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. They are adults. And if I were in her shoes, maybe I would have handled the matter differently.
What would you have done differently? No, I want to hear that. I'm curious.
No, you see, because I am not privy, she has not brought out her evidences. I am not privy to what she has. If we look at it on the surface...
You're still speaking about her. I just asked you what you would have done differently.
Hold on now, Choice. On the surface, like somebody's making passes at you or they are, changing your sitting position, I won't have really, taken it to the media. I would have applied discretion. That's to me. There's a better way I would have handled it. But now we
don't know it's a better way. You would have just been silent about it. Let's not call it better because I don't think that's better. That's a different way. So you would have been silent about it. Your approach would have been silent. That's not necessarily better.
I won't be silent because the ab initio, they told us that they are family friends.
Okay, hold on. Oh, fantastic. But you're saying, I just want to establish that you said you would have done something but in private. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that's not better. Just less because you can't say that handling it privately is better. No, you don't know what better is.
No, okay. No, what I'm basing it on the information we have.
I agree with you, but I'm using your words here. You said you would have handled it differently. I think you should say differently, not better.
Okay, differently. Okay, yeah, differently. Sorry. Okay, yes, different. That I would have handled it differently because of the initial relationship that existed between both families. That's what I meant. But now, with the way things have gone, I want to believe that Senator Natasha was true all along. I was correct all along. Because they never gave her audience in the Senate. They used the masculinity within the Senate. Even Akpati have not even come to defend himself. They are just dragging her. And then with all the recent development of recalling and all whatnot, I tend to stand with her, and I believe she has a judicious cause to pursue.
Thank you so much for calling.
I believe her. Thank you. Have a nice day.
How are you?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Joy.
Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Prince Wyatt, calling you from Abuja.
Okay, good.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Are you with me?
I am. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Pardon me. I sincerely apologize. I apologize. Your connection is bad, so I may have lost you there. I'll ask that you call back, please. The sunny side. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Hello, guys.
I don't know. Where are you? Yeah, good. That's a lot better. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Joyce, good afternoon.
I can hear you. Welcome.
This market fever.
All right, good.
Joyce, women have not been made to be silent. It's this generation that want to be silent. Before the colonial master came, yes, women are strong women. Very strong.
I like that.
Talk about the women before the whites came. You know that women have not been shut up in this country. Is when the colonial master came that said women can be in the kitchen, women cannot talk, women cannot take over a kingdom, women cannot be this. That is it. And some people now inherit that one, that women have to be silent. Me, I did not see my mother silent one day where my dad is. And me myself, I have not made to be silent. I talk. Whether you are a man or what, I stand up to you and talk and speak. That is how I see women who want to be silent. Maybe they are the lazy one doing nothing. They can't stand by themselves. If all those ones they give money, if they don't give them money, they cannot exist. That is how I see it, Joyce. Women stand and speak. Thank you.
Oh, that's all you called for? All right, got it. Thank you. Hello, how are you? Nigeria info.
Yeah, Joyce, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. Thank you for
Call
calling.
it back. Well, Natasha, in my opinion, I think she's a strong woman, so courageous, doesn't take any nonsense.
Really?
She doesn't take any nonsense from anybody. You know, and what baffles me is the large crowds from our people. That shows our people is with her, the people she's representing. That's the most important. Waiting for her arrival. Despite the warnings at every from the police, regardless, the idea waiting for her arrival. That baffles me. That means her people is with her 247. Thank you.
Oh.
Very long message.
Okay. Thank you. 99.3 Nigeria info. Let me give it to you. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the show. You have a
Good afternoon, Joyce.
Afternoon.
My name is Robert.
Welcome, Rob. Go ahead.
Joyce, you know, when Natasha was making that speech, she said that she alleged in the first place wanted to kill her, something like that. And she said she took the matter to the press, that she wanted to publish it ahead of time. That maybe the press will ask her for evidence. I hope this allegation, she has the evidence. Because there's something they say.
I apologize. Your connection isn't so good, but I kind of get what you're putting down. I'm so sorry. I wish it was a lot better than that. Maybe you'll try call back. We're going to go off on a break, and we'll come back. So, believe me, there are aspects of this conversation that still need reviewing. The allegations for two now, because now she's saying, sexual allegation, and then she's saying threat to life, or at least in a conversation in that regard. We'll be right back to continue on the sunny side.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.